watching.
Subscribe.
Hello, my name is Pete Cornell, you're watching ScreenStalker, and this is the movie news! It's the first time I'm doing the movie news, we're changing things up a little bit. Press a thumbs up, subscribe, because we're almost at 30,000 subscribers. It'd be pretty neat if we could hit that by this weekend. So maybe help us out, tell your friends, all that kind of thing. Enable notifications by clicking the bell icon to keep up to date with all things gaming and movies, and leave us a comment answering the question of the day. And today, that question is, which of these upcoming Disney projects are you most looking forward to? Avengers Endgame, the remake of Aladdin, Toy Story 4, or the remake of The Lion King? Giving you multiple choice today because I'm just that lovely. We've got a stacked episode today because all the things happened this week. There were records broken and new trailers released and legal battles and a whole bunch of footage shown for various different movies. But first, let's take a look at some Cats. Because Cats, the musical, is being adapted onto the big screen. It's recently been revealed at CinemaCon, however, that instead of human-sized cats, like, you know, they did on the stage, the actors in this film are going to be cat-sized. Like tiny little cats. The ensemble cast of furry friends for this film is set to include James Corden, Idris Elba, Taylor Swift, Dame Judi Dench, Sir Ian McKellen, and Jason Derulo? I wonder, if his cat gets happy, will its tail wiggle, wiggle, wiggle? I'm not gonna lie, I had to look up Jason Derulo songs for that gag because I'm not 12. Someone who is acting like they're 12 though is Steven Spielberg, who recently called out the Academy to ban Netflix films from contention of the Oscars. His argument states that because the films are not released on the big screen and are instead released on the much smaller screens of home TVs, they should instead be classed as TV movies and should contend for Emmys instead of Oscars. However, there's been a strong rebuttal from the US Department of Justice, and they're here to do what they do best: justice. Their statement reads, "In the event that the Academy, an association that includes multiple competitors in its membership, establishes certain eligibility requirements for the Oscars that eliminate competition without pro-competitive justification, such conduct may raise antitrust concern." There's also talk of a breach of Section 1 of something called the Sherman Act, but basically the point is, it's hella illegal for them to ban Netflix movies from the Oscars. Yeah. Take that, Spielberg. I should be careful though. Too much bullying can turn someone into a serial killer. That was an odd segue, but hey, there's a new trailer for the new Joker movie that's due for release in October. If you like an in-depth look at the trailer, Luke, Laurie, and I had a discussion yesterday about exactly that, so click the eye above my head to be taken to that right now. The psychological take on the iconic character delves into his past, as we follow his descent into madness. Joaquin Phoenix, who I still retain has the coolest name in the history of ever, will be starring in the eponymous role, under the guise of director Todd Phillips. Who knew a WWE commentator was so talented? Yeah, I make wrestling references. And what? Now we've got all that other news out the way, it's time to Disneyfy this episode. Hope there's like sparkles, something magical. That's right, it's time for a whole heap of Disney news, starting with the record breakers. Captain Marvel was released to theaters almost 1 month ago on the 8th of March. Since then, it's been the subject of some negative backlash because some of the worst humans on the planet just hate seeing women succeed, but it's also had an enormous amount of praise. While the movie has got another feather to place into its weird space helmet thing, as Captain Marvel has now officially grossed over $1 billion worldwide. It's almost as if it's a good film or something. The only other MCU movies to reach the same lofty heights so far are the original Avengers film, Iron Man 3, Avengers Age of Ultron, Captain America Civil War, Black Panther, and Avengers Infinity War, which means the only other origin film in the MCU to reach the same milestone is Black Panther. Not bad company to be keeping, to say the least. There were rumors flying around that Miss Danvers would be the figurehead of the MCU moving forward into Phase 4 after Avengers Endgame, and with numbers like this, it's hard to see why she wouldn't be. Speaking of really big numbers, it must be a good day to be a Marvel fan, because Avengers Endgame has also been smashing records and the film doesn't even release for another 3 weeks. Looks like Thanos has been using the time stone again. Pre-sale tickets for the film went live this past Tuesday, and rabid fans who were eagerly anticipating the release, which seems to be basically everyone, went crazy over them. Websites were crashing, online queues lasted for hours, and even when people made it to the front of the queues, the showings were selling out faster than a trip through the Universal Neural Teleportation Network, though hopefully without all the face warping stuff. In fact, the fan response was so huge that the pre-sale tickets for Avengers Endgame broke the record for most pre-sale ticket orders in 24 hours. But it didn't manage that feat in 24 hours. No. It broke that record in 6 hours. 6 hours! That is insane. Fans were obviously left frustrated at the delays and confusion, with some people not being able to secure tickets at all. Those of the more sneaky disposition attempted to start selling tickets on eBay, with some going for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. The American ticketing company Fandango confirmed that they had their best business day in 19 years on Tuesday, which means this release even beat out the most popular Christmas holiday movie-going days. The managing editor for Fandango, Eric Davis, tweeted out his thoughts, calling Avengers Endgame possibly the most highly anticipated movie of all time. It is very hard to disagree with that. And now, ladies and gents, hold on to your hats, because at CinemaCon yesterday, Disney revealed footage from 4, count them, 4 upcoming films under their giant Disney corporate umbrella. New scenes from Toy Story 4, The Lion King, Aladdin, and Avengers Endgame were all screened for the benefit of the audience in attendance, and I'm about to take you through them all. There were spoilers present for Toy Story 4 and minor plot point spoilers for Endgame as well, but I won't delve too deep into these as personally, I bloody hate spoilers. So first up is The Lion King. From the looks of the trailer, Lion King seemed to be almost photorealistic with its CGI, and according to those in attendance at CinemaCon, the scene holds up to that lofty expectation. The scene in question that they played was the iconic interaction between a young Simba and Mufasa, including James Earl Jones's "Everything the Light Touches" speech. Interestingly, this seems to be almost shot for shot identical to the original, which sort of begs the question, what's the point in the remake? Moving on to Aladdin, and they played an equally iconic scene from the original, that being the genie song of "Friend Like Me." While Lion King stayed straight and true to its origins, it seems the Aladdin remake is taking a few creative liberties, which in fairness, they would have had to, because the animations for "Friend Like Me" in the original Aladdin are quite frankly bonkers. Now let's get the elephant out of the room. Will Smith isn't Robin Williams, but what's refreshing is he's not trying to be. With this new scene, it seems he's taking on his own charm in a smoother, more relaxed genie, as opposed to the frantic one that Williams portrayed back in the day. Next we have Toy Story 4, and Disney didn't show some little scene for this one. They showcased the first 17 minutes of the movie. 17 minutes! That is crazy. It's basically just Toy 4 now. We've already got the story part out of it. I won't talk about all the plot points that happened in it, but apparently there were some new characters introduced. That's all I'm giving you. Lastly is Avengers Endgame. The scene that plays out for this showcase is one that links into the end credit scene of Captain Marvel and a small clip from the trailer when Marvel herself makes her arrival and joins the Avengers. Again, I won't say exactly what goes down, but let's just say the Avengers are gearing up for a journey of some kind. But now we do actually delve into possible Avengers Endgame spoilers, but not from footage from the film. No, that would be way too obvious. From the most unintentionally hilarious source of spoilers possibly ever. So, Thanos is a big deal, right? Like, they even had him in Fortnite doing dances and all that crazy stuff. So naturally, there's gonna be merchandise of the Mad Titan. One of the things that's really nice for kids is Build-A-Bear, except in this case you can build Thanos, so I guess it's more like a Build-A-Murderer, Build-A-Titan, Build-A-Genocidal Maniac. You know, nice stuff for the kids. While in the lovely Thanos edition, the toy has some voice lines, 5 to be exact. Now, 2 of these voice lines have been heard in previous films. The other 3, however, are brand spanking new, and, well, you can see where this is going. The 3 voice lines in question are, "I had all the power in my grasp. How are you doing this? You do not have the power to wield the Infinity Stones." The top tier Thanos impression. great. From I had all the power in my grasp, it seems Thanos had all the power, past tense, had the power, but has now lost it. So whether that's an indication of the Infinity Stones being somehow damaged or unusable after the snap, or this is a defeated sentiment of Thanos after he's quelled, remains to be seen. How are you doing this? Sounds like Thanos is backed into a corner, an exasperated question. One we've also heard Ronan the Accuser utter once the Guardians of the Galaxy maintained control of the Power Stone. You do not have the power to wield the Infinity Stones is pretty self-explanatory, and it also ties in nicely with a plan the Avengers had before, when they attempted to remove the gauntlet from Thanos' hand on Titan. Perhaps they succeed this time around, but Thanos taunts one of them at being unable to use the stones against him. Or maybe these are all voice lines just made for the toy, and all of this is just rabid fans desperately trying to find out more information about a film they just can't wait to see in 3 weeks. Yes, it's probably that. And finally today, let's take a look at that Disney and Fox merger that's been the talk of the town lately. Once again at CinemaCon, Disney laid out its plans for Fox in more detail, and some of them are very, very intriguing indeed. It appears that Fox will maintain its name and own brand, and will be used as a platform to make the kind of projects that wouldn't be acceptable under the Disney name, since Disney has built its reputation of being a family-friendly brand. Franchises such as Alien, Planet of the Apes, Kingsman, and Maze Runner were all names mentioned that were pinpointed as having life within them, so while they may not have active films in development right now, it seems that some of those cogs may begin to turn sooner rather than later. As for the X-Men and Fantastic Four, well, that was talked about too, and some fans may actually not be too happy with the results. It seems that both sets of superhero parties will eventually be making their way to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that includes Deadpool. Now, Deadpool's character doesn't really seem to mesh with the rest of the MCU, what with his crude jokes and tendency to behead people on the reg, but it seems to be the way they're heading, with Alan Horn, the chairman of Disney Studios, assuring those in attendance at CinemaCon, you'll be seeing more of Deadpool in the years to come. Boy, can't wait for the climax of Endgame to finish with Deadpool jumping in and just slicing Thanos' head off before turning to the camera and just saying, oops, don't lose your head. Don't do that. Don't do that, please. Please don't do that. That was the movie news. Make sure to leave us a like if you enjoyed by pressing the thumbs up, subscribe and help us reach 30,000 subscribers by this weekend. Enable notifications by pressing the bell icon to get notified every time a video goes live, all about things gaming and movies. Answer the question of the day, and as always, remember, we're watching.